What's up? What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? It's the Arkatech Beatz Music Business Podcast. We are your hosts, platinum producers, Arkatech Beatz. I am Jugrnaut.
I am Mike Trauma D.
And collective, we are the platinum producers. Like I said, Arkatech Beatz. If it's your first time here, welcome. For those who keep coming back, thank you. So as like I was saying, platinum producers, we've produced for everybody in the music industry. And what we like to do is we like to just share our insights on what's going on, talk about different music business topics, things of that nature, trying to help new artists try to navigate their careers and trying to give them some real good insight and resources so that they can understand whatever's going on. If you haven't checked out the website, always do that for new updates, etc. at www.arkatechbeatz.com. And, follow us on all social media with the same associated at Arkatech Beatz. And let's get into this. Today we want to talk about, some things. Really what's going on in the music industry is we see a lot of street stuff going on. Indictments, RICOs.
Yeah.
And what we wanted to talk about, we want to touch on these guys that are in the music industry, 1 foot in the music industry, 1 foot in the street. And, really trying to school the artists and saying, hey, man, you have to make a decision and you're not going to be able to do both. And not for long. Not the way things are set up right now. So, we just want to touch on that, trying to give guys some game, from the things that we've seen. Because we've seen a lot. And it always never ends well when it's 1 foot in the street and 1 foot in the game in the music business. So, let's jump into this.
Yeah, man. Yeah, the thing is, man, once you start getting any traction in this music business, man, you start getting a lot of eyes on you, and not just eyes from fans or the haters. We're talking about law enforcement. We're talking about IRS. We're talking about all of these different agencies that's going to put an eye on you. And you're on these social media platforms showing off money, showing off guns, showing off drugs, showing all these things off. You're telling on yourself. You're going to be looked at. And if you're an artist coming up in this game, you gotta refine yourself. You gotta really think about the image and some of the things that you're putting out there, because those same things are going to be used to take you down. And as we're seeing right now with a couple of cases going on right now, those are some of the things that are being used to open these cases and to put investigations and to slap RICO charges. It's messed up, man, because a lot of these artists have an opportunity to do a whole lot more. Some of them have actually been successful, thus far in the music business. So to get hit with some of these things and, it's not looking good, jail time, and it ain't cool. So I think, some of these artists really got to think about, the long-term game, and really make a decision on how you're going to move and what's really important. Am I going to stay here and continue doing this, or am I going to leave that alone and concentrate solely on this? So, yeah, it's crazy.
It's funny, man, because I'm looking at this whole thing for a lot of artists and different things happening. It's just insane. And let's be honest. A lot of artists fund their rap careers from the street, right? We know that, right? That's not a, some guys are able to do it different ways in terms of, some guys are able to do it different ways, right? We all know that you need we all know that you need money to kind of get yourself started in this music business, especially now. With everything being independent, you have to pay for everything. Everything has to come out of pocket. I understand that. So I'm not going to be on this platform trying to be holier than the next person, saying, hey, so forth and so on. But once you get your traction going, Once you start being able to earn from your art and your creative, your situation, you have to start making some hardcore decisions in terms of who you're going to have around and what you're going to leave behind. Because the whole point of getting in this business is to leave that behind. Right? Yeah. The whole point of getting in this business is to make money, to get yourself to a different level so that you and your family can live comfortably and then you can provide for your family over the course of some generations. Right? That's the whole point of intellectual property. That's the whole point of music. That's the whole point of the whole thing. Right? I shouldn't be leaving the street to now have to try to survive in the music industry.
And that's crazy. That's exactly what's happening. It's like it's more dangerous in the music business
than the street.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that, I think you and I touched on it before, because we were talking about how producers sometimes don't want to go to the studio and they don't want to do this and they don't want to engage with certain artists because of the shenanigans that people are still involved in. You know what I'm saying? And you can't really put your situation, your family, and your assets at risk, when you're coming out of a studio session and the ops is waiting for that person. You know what I mean? And here you go now. It's a different situation these days, and I don't think people really understand how dangerous it is. Like, it's very dangerous. It's like it's not.
They said the rapper profession is a dangerous profession now. Like,
it's not what it used to be, and not to say that the guys that we worked with before were any less street. They were probably just as much in the street as they were as they are now. It's just, I think the older artists, delineated when it was time to leave it alone, right? And then it's time to say, let me go get this big budget over here. I got my deal over here. Let me, put this tour together. Let me do that. And they had ways of generating income. And then what you saw them do is that, the people who were able to be in their circle that were of use stayed in the circle. The people who were going to basically create problems and drama, those folks couldn't stay around. You just couldn't have that. You just couldn't have it. It's like you always got to protect the moneymaker. And I don't see that happening right now. Guys are not protecting the moneymaker.
Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate, man, because, these artists, and they'll have like literally hit records out there. They'll have records popping, and you're just like, what happened? Like, why? And I don't know. Maybe it's I'm not gonna speculate too much. Habits and you can't leave, and but as you've seen with the current violence in hip hop and the amount of artists that's been gunned down, like it's like week after week almost. Like it's a sad situation, and I don't even know what to say about it anymore. Sometimes you just go online and you see, oh, this person shot, this person killed, this person RICO charges, and you're just like, damn, like that's the whole radio station worth of music right there. Like, yo, that's like the 5 records right there. Like,
the joint is borderline. The joint is borderline sad, bro.
It is sad. It's sad and it's disappointing. And what happens also is like, what happens when the next generation sees this, and it's like, okay, where are the new doors that's going to open for the next generation to push this thing forward? How are they going to do that when all of the people that they look up to, that they get locked up or they're being killed? Like we have a bigger duty, and that's to provide an environment, that's going to enable like creativity and push this whole culture forward, and I'm not sure the direction that's going right now, to be honest with you. But
like I said, man, it's like we're the only genre of music that is literally like everybody's getting killed. Excuse me. Yeah. Everybody's getting killed. And it's like, if they're not getting killed, police is on them, feds on them. What? You know? And it's like, once those other charges come, those RICO stuff come, like, how you guys gonna beat these charges? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even have to be, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even have to really be in something to beat that kind of charge. Like, that charge is almost impossible to beat. That's the reason why they do it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, they said that the whole RICO thing was made really to take down the mafia back in the days, because they were having a hard time, getting those guys. And now they're applying the same techniques to a lot of these gang associated rappers. They're just gonna do the same thing to clean things up. So you know, uh, I wish these guys good luck, man. Like it's 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 a tough situation to be in, but at the same time, if you're gonna be dabbling in that lifestyle, I mean, you sort of gotta expect what's gonna come down the line sooner or later, right?
I mean, I get it, man. I guess, and sometimes what can happen is that it may not even be them. It could be two, three people that you're removed from. You know what I'm saying? Two, three levels down or something like that. That's still kind of around. You know what I mean? That you got now. Like how you have knowledge of something, but you're not into something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then those people get jammed up, and then they try to say, "Hey, you the ringleader,"
Because you gave them some money.
right?
You bought something, so now you funded it. Like,
Right? You
I bought
funded
the
it,
homie a gift. I bought the homie a
right?
gift. I gave him
So
some money to help him out on his rent.
you see how it go. That's see how the game go. You know what I'm saying? So it's like one of those things where you're gonna have to now put everything through the system. Hey, I need your social. I need you to invoice me. I need this. You know what I'm saying? Like I need all of these things to make sure that there's going to be a difference between me giving you cash and then people saying, well, you gave me the cash to go buy more, to go buy more product or whatever. It's like, come on, like, because you could do anything with the cash. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like you create that situation.
Yeah, that's why there's invoices and all that stuff. So everything is documented.
You got to document everything, and I noticed that even if you're talking about the IRS or anything else, if it's not documented, bro, it ain't happen.
Hope y'all listening.
Like if it's not documented, like if they ever audit you, if you don't document it, if you don't document those miles, if you don't document this, if you don't document this sale, or if you don't document this spending on whatever, if you don't got the receipts, listen, they gonna tell you it's this, and you got to pay that. And that's just across the board. Like, and I just need these guys to really understand, like the whole, the beef in the street. It's like at some point we have to start being more accountable for what we're doing, man. Like honestly, it's one of those situations where it's like no other genre of music has to have these kind of worries. None. It's we the only one. We the only ones where they're gonna promote us killing each other. Like it's like to be the only genre that's gonna promote that joint, and then every week we're gonna see somebody getting gunned down in the street, and then you guys are not even moving the way y'all need to move. Meaning, you got beef, right? Why you posting every time and showing where you are? You know what I'm saying? Like. You know what I mean? If you got a show, that's enough. You got a show, you got to show up with a show. You got to take different precautions to make sure that you get in and out safe. If you know you got beef, right? And someone can't tell me that it's not impossible because some of these guys are navigating it, right?
Absolutely.
And some of these guys are getting through it and getting it and able to, they're getting their security. They're doing what they need to do. They're making sure they're moving and shaking and don't have any problems. Like you make yourselves victims because it's like, and I was saying this a long time ago, and I was like, hip hop started to become like the music of, at one point, it was like, okay, we could talk about what we had is inspiring, whatever, but then it started to turn to like, fuck you, you ain't shit if you don't got what I got. Right? So once we start using that type of language, right? There's like, there's levels to this shit. You ain't like on my level. You can't do what I do. Da, 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 da. All right, so then now you become the mark.
So you're saying it went from, but I mean, hip hop has always been braggadocious. It's always been showing off. But I get what you're saying. Like it's almost like instead of uplifting, it's also at the same time, um, it's insulting everyone else,
It's insulting everybody else,
including the fans,
including the fans. You
which
you
is
you
bumped
you
up.
you dissing the fans. Like a lot of time, I see a lot of these things where you guys are dissing the fans. You guys try to get on there and try to front like I'm doing it for inspiration, but you're not really doing it. You're really doing it because you're trying to, show yourself as a different value from other men, so that you could be more appealing to women. I get it, but at the same time, you got to understand this is just, this is street music. You understand? Like this is street music. Like you got to understand, like people feel away, right? Like, and like you're not going to be able to just like especially when you're looking at an economy that's crashing right now. Like, this is the last thing you want to do is be up there posting how much you got.
Like it can't happen.
Like it can't happen. Like that's the last thing you want to be out here doing. And from our generation, you only did that if you was either nice with your hands, or you was nice with that knife work, or you was ready to pop your gun. You wasn't gonna be out here wearing all kind of chains and all kind of stuff wearing out in the street like it was nothing. Like nobody was gonna rob you for it. Like it didn't happen like that back in the day. So I think sometimes it's kind of like guys are not being smart about it. Like okay, is there an event that I need to go to, that I need to make sure that I'm looking the way I need to look and jeweled up, whatever that's gonna have security. Versus I'm going to Walmart in a city that I don't need to be in. You know what I'm saying? I got everything on. Like, come on, man. Like, come on, man. Like, you're gonna get robbed. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna get robbed. And that's
like, what are you trying to prove?
You're gonna get robbed, man. Like, come on, man. Like, you're gonna get robbed. And the truth is that, it's like what Prodigy used to say on that infamous album, I'm not a super what you call it, I'm just a little guy, you know what I'm saying? It's all about who get who first.
And it's not like these and then you know what? It's not like you can't identify these artists' cars. It like they make it like really too easy. You post where you at. You're driving, this bright colored car or whatever. You know what I mean? You posting where you at. You showing how much you got. You showing your bag. Like really, dude.
Like really, like these guys sometimes will say, "Hey, any given time, I got X amount of dollars on me."
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like I get it. I understand that this is, we're trying to illustrate that we on a different level. But again, when I was younger, and when things was happening, like we from New York, when I was younger, when things was happening, you couldn't move that way. Like you just couldn't move that way. Like you just couldn't move that way. We was gonna take it from you. Like that's really what it was. Like we was gonna take it from you, and we was gonna talk about it later. It's like, oh, remember we got such and such. Like that's what he was gonna do. Like it wasn't a situation where it was like you're just out here and just safe. Like how do you think you're just safe? It's like, do you see gas prices? I'm just saying, like, why do you think that you can do that? Like, why do you think you can do that? Like, I think they're not being cognizant of the pain that people are going through. They're not being cognizant of of what's happening in certain states right now. They've reduced, or if they've made it harder for you to get like a robbery charge, right? You have to take certain amount of money, certain crimes they're not even prosecuting.
Right.
Like, so it's like you're in a situation where you're going to put yourself in harm's way. And I'm begging you guys out here in the industry, man, just listen. If you got one foot in the street, one foot in the business, you're supposed to be trying to find a way to get your foot out, that other foot out the street. And once you get that other foot out the street, you're supposed to be lawyered up, on retainer, start asking those questions as to how you can make sure that you can streamline your business to to make sure that everything is legit. Same thing with your accountant and everything else that you need to do as business managers, etc. And you know, I would even encourage these guys to start reading up on RICO. Like, understand what happened to other people so that you can avoid it for yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, because you can kind of get caught in something that's circumstantial.
Yeah.
Because you're ignorant to it. Yeah. Because you're ignorant to what, you know, to what, how they're coming for you. So if you're ignorant to it, you're not going to know how to maneuver yourself. And you have to, once you start earning money, man, you got to protect yourself. You got to protect your assets. It's just 101. That's just what I'm seeing. That's what I'm looking at right now. So, you know, I'm hoping that these guys beat it. You know, what we talking about? Thug, Gunner, right?
Casanova.
Casanova just pleaded, I think.
Yeah.
You know, and what's that? He's gonna face what? 50 years, something like that. Like, you know,
possibly,
I don't even know what that even looks like. You know, it's like it's a shame. And these guys had traction. I can't even talk about with Thug. Like, Thug is just on another level. I just would, you know, I just figured that it would, you know, but the stuff that was happening behind the scenes was just, you know, allegedly. You know, that's the situation. And why are we even on talking about Thug and them? Rest in peace, Lil Keed.
Oh yeah.
Well, rest in peace to Lil Keed, and you know, it's funny because we were very early in catching his ascension. You know, Pesh Mayweather brought him to my attention and said, like, hey, this guy is popping out here in the city. And I was like, nah, like, I can't, what you talking about? You know, he sound like Thug, right? And then it was like, what? Wait a minute. Nah, he's like, no, the kid is really popping. Started showing me different videos and stuff like that. And he was like, yo, y'all should really try to get a record with him. And he put it together. So it was, you know, rest in peace to him. He's a young guy, you know. Sorry to see that happen. Condolences to his family.
Yeah,
you know. So I'm gonna switch gears a little bit on us, man. I know that the new thing right now is this. Everybody talking about this Kendrick Lamar album, you know, and how great it is, and I don't know, you know what I mean? I you know, because you know people will say this is blasphemy. Like, wait, you don't like a Kendrick Lamar album, and it's like, you know, that means you're not a hip hop guy, and I'll put it in perspective, right? We're Arkatech Beatz, right? We have music with Big Pun, Raekwon the Chef, Prodigy of Mobb Deep, The Game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who am I leaving out?
So many others, but
Raekwon, right? I said Raekwon already.
Yeah, there's so many others.
So I said that and I put that out there so people won't sit here and act like we're not real hip hop people. I want people to stop it, right? Like, stop it. We are, you know, we've worked with some of the most seminal, classic artists, you know, groundbreaking of a generation in time and culture. But when we talk about this Kendrick album, for me, it just doesn't feel. I can't put my finger on that. I don't want to say it doesn't feel hip hop enough. It just kind of feels like
it don't feel gritty enough. It feels a little. It feels. I mean, he's elevated to a. But let me get this out the way first. There's nothing you can't take away anything from Kendrick's lyrical ability.
Right.
The dude is nice.
You know how to rap. We're not saying that you don't know how to rap. We're not saying that.
Out the way.
Yeah, we're not saying that.
He'll wrap circles around you. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's one of the best lyrical, and you know, you put him up against a lot of people, especially now, he'll rap all over you.
Right.
You know. We're talking about album. We're talking about music. And for me personally, like, and I was telling you this, Jug, I was telling you this earlier that I saw a freestyle of a big a Big freestyle, and it felt so refreshing to hear, because a lot of times a lot of artists nowadays are either they're mumbling their words, they're slurring their words, they're rapping really fast to show their lyrical capabilities. So they're rapping really fast, like rhyme after rhyme after rhyme after rhyme, not allowing the spaces, not allowing the delivery, and not allowing you to catch everything and to digest it before going to the next bar. Like, you're not taking the time out to just create something where it can be delivered in a way where it's, oh, okay. I could catch it on the first two. You know, a lot of that is going on right now, and after listening to this big record, I was just like, yo, that was so refreshing, because you see where he pauses, he takes his breaths, how he maneuvers the flow, how he maneuvers the beat, and it was just like, wow, how he plays with the different tones, and I was like, yo, this is one of the reasons why Big is big. And after listening to what I've heard with the Kendrick, and he does the thing with the voices too, which is dope. Kendrick does, but he does the rapid rapping. And for me personally, like, that's not my preference in hip hop. That's not my preference. That's not my the style that I love. You know. Um, so for me, I was just like, okay, production wise, I didn't hear any beats that blew me away. Um, Sounded a lot of like mainstream safe hip hop, as opposed to gutter, grimy, crazy beats. None of that. I didn't get that from this project. Um, One record that was a standout to me that I really liked though was the record with him and his woman.
Mm-hmm.
The where they rap when they were kind of arguing with each other. I thought that was a dope concept. You know. And it had some insight of what goes on in a lot of homes between a man and his woman. But it was okay for me. Like,
I feel like, you know, sometimes, like, artists like Kendrick are gifting curses, right? Like,
mhm.
they can only get it can only keep going, but so much better each time, right? It's not, you know what I'm saying? It gets to a point where it plateaus. It doesn't, like when you say about, like, there was really no, like, anything in the production, that, what you call it, that it was nothing in there for me that really made it kind of go in a it's like, damn, I gotta get my words together, like, but the best way for me to really describe it when dealing with Kendrick Joint, like you said, was that I'm looking for those oh my gosh records. The records like, my God, did you hear that? Like, and not just lyrical. I'm talking about the marriage between the lyrics and the tracks that are such a way where it's married, that you, like, most albums are supposed to have these one to three, like, really, like, bigger than life tracks. Like, you have to say to yourself, oh my God, did you hear this? Like, this is just ridiculous. And it just seems safe to me. I don't have that in these albums, and I'm seeing that happening with a lot of guys' albums lately, where, guys are not pushing the envelope to get that beat that's just like, or get that track and marry a song together that's just like, oh my gosh, like, can you believe he rapped on that? And you just don't have that anymore. It's like, I don't know, these guys are either playing it safe, they're scared, or it's just, hey, I want people to listen to my voice all day, rap. I don't know what it is, but it's especially when they're at that level, they're supposed to have access to the top notch or the absolute best production in the world. So it's kind of it's kind of disappointing, I guess.
Hmm.
Just
Yeah.
for me, you know what I mean? And it's like, again, I won't take anything away from his rapping, you know. But
Yeah.
but in my opinion, and the way that classic albums are made, they're not made based off of just rapping.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? They're not made that way. you know, and if you know, like we used to tar and feather Nas for that, right? Where it was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, he raps so dope, but the beats. People complain about that all day long and say the beats. We used to tar and feather him for it. Like, okay, what's up with the production? And then it's kind of like, okay, you know, the new wave that he got with Hit Boy now is kind of reinvigorated. It's like, okay, now we got some cohesion again. And I just think that what he has is like, you know, it's sometimes it gets too funk, it gets too, you know, it just kind of, you know, like you said, safe album, mainstream album, feels Academy intended. And you say, well,
Right.
I say, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like I'm making an album to really, you know, to impress the Academy versus to impress the fans in the street, and you know, and I think I think that's always been my beef. It's just like, you know, like make the album not for that kind of, you know, industry critical acclaim. You know, make the album for like that, you know, that really makes it a critically acclaimed album, which is the damn streets. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like once you have one of those albums like an Illmatic that the streets coin that, you know what I mean? Ready to Die or Reasonable Doubt or you know, Southern Playalistic, Cadillac Music, you know what I mean? Like Doggy Style, the streets
Doggy
did that.
Style.
You know what I'm saying? Chronic, you know, the streets did that. It's not the Academy that makes these things classics and critically acclaimed, you know what I mean? So sometimes I see, you know, the selection of tracks, the instrumentation, the live this, the that. Like, it's like, come on, man. Like, that's not, like, you know what I'm saying? That's like, it's like, So that's just me.
Yeah.
Some people will say it's blasphemy. They'll say we don't know what the hell we're talking about it. That's why I preface it with all of those people that, you know, that we've, you know, Nas. I didn't even add Nas to that catalog that we said that we work with. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I have to let people understand that, like, being in the room with some of the best that ever did it. It's like, you know, the people that you wouldn't have at Kendrick Lamar without these people.
But you know what, Jug? Like, but hip hop, you know, is supposed to be like enough for everybody. You know what I mean? So it's supposed to be okay. You know, it's supposed to be enough to go around. Like, okay, you rock with this, but you may not be rock with that. But you rock with this, you may not rock with that. You know, that's just the nature of music. That's the nature of art. You know, some days you feel it, some days you won't. Maybe going back later on down the line, you start to feel it, because that happens now. Records that weren't felt back then are being felt back right now. Like, wow. So it's like everything really is also, you know, based on the time it's presented, you know, the mood you're in, you know, a lot of different, you know, reasons, you know, because there are records that I wasn't crazy about back in the days, and now it feels better, it feels different, you know, and vice versa. There's records that I thought was dope, and then when I listen now, it's like, damn, like, you know, that was it back then.
That was really,
you know,
trash, right? That was really
yeah. I
right?
mean,
Like, damn.
for today's time, like where you're at now, like everything kind of like encompasses where the time frame where they're at that point. And some things are like fine wine. They're better. They taste better. They feel better later, and some things just don't.
It's crazy, man. I hear that, man. Like, I do. Like now, like when you say that, as far as like where we are with Spotify and the streaming platforms, and how you can rediscover old stuff, and how things can feel better, look better. Like, I get that. You know, like you said, the music isn't being really made for consumption, right? It may be for now, but it's also for later.
Yeah.
Rediscovery. There's a lot that goes into it, you know. But for me, you know, it's not my first choice. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, if I'm gonna listen to something, I'm like, I'm listening to that.
Any NFT crypto talk? Anything going on in that world?
Well, you know, you had that we switched gears a little bit. That NFT world. not so much NFT, but the crypto situation. You know, we had that big Terra Luna crash.
Yeah.
So that was that
Hard.
hurt.
Yeah,
That
that was
hurt.
hard.
You know, listen, I was one of those folks that was in that protocol. You know, I didn't go directly into Anchor, but I did go through one of the other platforms that do the because I thought it would have been safer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So through a staking platform, you know what I mean. Basically, you just you send your Terra US over there, and then they would just pay you a certain amount of interest that was well over 10%. So you know, it to me it seemed sweet, you know, but part of me was like,
It's
wait,
too sweet.
part of me was like, wait, you know, so part of me was like, wait. So I put a few dollars in it, and what happened? I was waiting for it. I was like I said, when it gets to this amount, I'll put more. That's how I was playing it. I said, when it gets to this amount, I'm gonna put more. That's how I was trying to gauge how comfortable or how safe I felt. So
This is not financial advice.
This is not financial advice. You know, this is just
clear.
my experience, what I did. Right? So so then, I'm going through my regular situation. I start getting notifications that, hey, Terra Luna is crashing.
What?
I'm like, come on, man. But again, this is part of the situation when we're dealing with crypto. Do your own research. You have to do your own research, right? Because that US Terra stable coin, it was never collateralized. Didn't have any collateral. It was an algorithmic stable coin, and
it had no backing.
It had no backing. It was based off of whatever traction was going on. Luna was creating the collateral or the stabilization for that coin, and once Luna crashed, it depegged it.
Ooh.
You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
So what I see happening now with the crypto situation, which is a little bit alarming, is now they're trying to basically remove the stability from stable coins, right? Because stable coins don't, that was safe. That's why everybody lost their shirt on this Terra. Because as far as they were concerned, it's like it's dollar for dollar, it's pegged. It's they
hence stable coin.
Yeah, it helps stable coin. There's no volatility. We're not worrying about it being 30,000 this day and 60,000 the next and then 10,000 the next. You're not worried about that. You're saying, okay, it's this, that, and then it's gaining interest either between, if you were on the Anchor platform, which is directly to Luna, they were paying up to 21% interest on the dollar. You're not getting that out of any bank, So it did seem like a little bit of a concerted effort to destroy something that people would have a lot of confidence in. Mm-hmm. And look, they said some people shorted it, went on the way down and made upwards of $900 million.
Wow. So
this is sophisticated, and people have to really understand it's sophisticated. And when you're dealing with crypto, and I think you and I talked about this earlier, listen, rule number one, always take profit.
Take profit.
Period, point blank, take profit.
After that's rule number 2. Rule number 1 is don't invest what you're not
right. Number 1, yes, you're right. That's rule number 2. Like you said, rule number 1 is don't invest what you can't afford to lose.
Right.
Right. Because if it was a bigger bag, I could be out here crying, And I seen some guys lose it all. Some people put all of it in it.
Yeah, I've heard people putting in their 401ks. They were putting their retirements in there.
They were putting all of it in it because they were looking for it to really compound at a certain, let's say you were the person that didn't time it right. If you had done it maybe last year and got out, you'd have been like, wow, that really worked for me. But if you were the person that came in late, you got caught holding the bag. You know what I mean? And and that's part of the situation. You can't time this market. You don't know when the bottom comes out. Because the bottom does come out. Right now we're watching Bitcoin do some weird things. We don't know what's going to happen with that. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what's going to happen with that. But remember, what happens is that some people have so much money that they can make a few transactions and they can swing the entire market. Right? This is not a regulated. This is not stocks. You know what I'm saying? So people have regulated. It's not regulated. So
the Wild West.
Yeah. So, like you said, rule number 1: don't put in any more money that you can't afford to lose, because you never know what's going to happen in this situation. Do your own research. Like, really do your own research. Number 2, always take profit. Like, I can't stress that enough. Like, all of that. I'm a hodler. All of that. That's cap. Right. For my experience.
Another thing I wanna touch on, man, and there's been a lot of scams and rug pulls, of course, in the space, and one thing that needs to be addressed is, well, there's plenty of things, but if your crypto is not in your wallet, where you own the wallet, your seeds, if you're leaving it on an exchange or you're leaving it in Coinbase, it's not your money. Meaning that anytime they decide to go, that's it. I heard Coinbase talked about possibly like what would happen if they file bankruptcy, and if your stuff is on their platform, and just any platform where you don't own it, it's not yours. If they decide to get up and go, that's it. And it's not just them. It's the exchanges, wherever, but you don't own the keys. You don't own. It's not your seed phrase. So you guys need to really think about where you're storing your crypto, where you're storing your NFTs. That's one. Also, another thing that's been happening is the scams have been like at an all-time high. People are losing their NFTs. People are losing their cryptos. People are putting out fake links. Be mindful of clicking links. I'm gonna tell you a little story that happened to me last week. So I was interested in a NFT project, and the co-founder, actually somebody made a fake co-founder page to mirror the co-founder. And what they did is one of the letters, like for example, a lowercase L looks exactly like an I.
Mm-hmm.
So they switched out one letter so it looks exactly the same. You can't tell it apart unless you copy and paste it and put it into a Word document. So the guy sent me a link to mint something, right? So I click the link, I go on the link, click it, I checked that everything else looked good. Click the link. It wasn't MetaMask, it was another wallet I had. It popped up in order to do the transaction. A lot of people don't do this. They just hit agree. Take the time to look at what you're agreeing to. Because a lot of people are getting scammed really because they're clicking OK. So make it a habit of, before you click it OK, before you mint, before you purchase, whatever transactions you're doing in the MetaMask wallet, whatever wallet you have, read through it. Read what you're allowing. So when I read through it, one of the things it was saying was that it was going to remove one of the NFTs that was in the wallet. And I instantly put reject, and I moved whatever's in that wallet, I moved it out to a safe wallet, and I got rid of the wallet. So, number one, always read the transactions. Number two, be careful of these links that you're clicking into. And three, to be on this real safe side, if you ever have to mint a new project or you're going into something new, use a fresh wallet. Use a brand new wallet with no NFTs in it, maybe just the gas fees, that's it, to keep you safe. So God forbid anything has happened to that, There's nothing in that wallet anyway.
And that's I think that's something that a lot of people are not even thinking about, right? They think it's too much trouble to open up a secondary wallet, third wallet. It doesn't cost you anything.
It don't cost anything.
Yeah, to do that, to protect your assets. Especially if you're going into protocols that are new and are really unproven. Like, this is a situation that you see happening. It's like you said, the scams are really at an all-time high. And,
Horror stories.
It's a horror story. Like, when we were talking about that Terra Luna, it's like, it feels like a sophisticated rug, or a sophisticated Ponzi/scam. And this thing went on for a long time, in terms of before it actually crashed. Like, we saw something lose 100% of its value in in a little over 24 hours.
Wow.
Go to zero? Wow. 99%, like, go to zero in over 24 hours. In 24 hours? It's like, come on. That stuff is unprecedented.
And there's no way to get this stuff back once it's gone.
It's gone. Like, that's it. It's out the game. So, like we said, non-financial advice, but you got to do your research and make sure that you got to protect yourself, Do you want to tell the people about, the new NFT situation that we're going to get into, or you trying to leave that for a surprise?
Well, we're coming with something. We're not ready to release all the details yet, but just keep a lookout on our social media page, on our Twitter page, Arkatech Beatz. We're working on something with a bunch of communities that we're involved in. So it's definitely going to create some opportunities, and I think it'll be real dope, So just keep an eye out on us, and we'll get you further news soon.
And for all your musicians and artists out there who are trying to figure out, how to incorporate their music into NFTs, follow us. We'll show you the way. Because we're going to show you the way and how you can incorporate these things and how you can really, get your fans involved and really grow your base and at the same time, everybody makes some money at the same time. So that's something that I'm really excited about and interested in getting us moving into. But that's the Arkatech Beatz Music Business Podcast, folks.
Mm-hmm.
For this week. Make sure you follow up with us every week. We get on the platform. We do it every week to try to get everybody feeling what we're feeling. Just follow us at the www.arkatechbeatz.com. Our social media, Facebook, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Does anybody use Instagram? TikTok. It's a failing platform. I hope people are ready to jump off. But
talk about that later.
Yeah, that's a whole nother. Listen, I won't say that it deserves it, but that's what happens when you promote the wrong things and suppress. When you suppress on purpose, you get what you deserve. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Elon Musk trying to buy Twitter and get rid of the bots.
Arkatech Beatz Podcast. We out of here.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Arkatech